was jointly conceived by MITI, Ministry of Electronics and Electronic Information Technology, and NASCOM. So the main objective of this Future Skill Prime is to upskilling, create an upskilling ecosystem in the futurist technologies to facilitate continuous skill as well as knowledge enhancements of the IT professionals. So that is the main purpose, the main objective of this Future Skill Prime. So over the period of 3 years, so far we have trained around 4.2 lakh IT professionals under Future Skill Prime. The resource centers for this Future Skill Prime here is C-DAC and then NEERIT. We are conducting these programs in the form of hub and spoke mode. So these are the 10 technologies that we are offering from C-DAC and NEERIT. So starting with 3D printing and additive manufacturing, followed by blockchain technology, cybersecurity, and we C-DAC Hyderabad is the lead center for cybersecurity, and the co-leads for cybersecurity is NEERIT Patna, C-DAC Trivandrum, and NEERIT Kohima. Apart from these three technologies, other technologies are Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, social and mobile, big data analytics, cloud computing, and virtual reality. So all in these technologies, we are continuously providing a training bridge course which was offered from different C-DAC centers to all the IT professionals. So who can attend these, take the courses on? Any IT employees working in IT firms as well as non-IT firms, and non-IT employees also can able to attend these courses. Any person who is working in government sector or state government as well as central government sector is also eligible to take the course. Fresh recruits, the main this is not exclusive, means then you are eligible to take the bridge course. So one of the prime factor in this Future Skill Prime is once you completed the course, 50% of the course will be the maximum of 3,000 will be reimbursed to the participants. So for example, for cybersecurity bridge course, pragmatic approach to cybersecurity that we are offering. So for that course, the total course fee is 1,200 including GST. After paying the 1,200, you can able to take the course. It means over a period of 90 days, you can able to take the course, and then finally NASCOM will conduct an assessment. If you clear the assessment, then immediately NASCOM will reimburse 50% of the course fee. That means 600 will be reimbursed along with the SSC NASCOM certification. So for cybersecurity course, the course fee is 1,200, and once you clear the certification, you will be refunded with 600 rupees. So, to continuing the bridge course, to proliferate the bridge course only, we are regularly conducting these webinars. So every month we are conducting this webinar. This is the webinar for the month of October that we are conducting. So after completing this webinar session, probably we share the brochures as well as URL details for URL for the bridge course that we are offering. And also while receiving your certificate also, you can receive the link for getting to the bridge course. For further details, you can contact us at csfs@cdac.in. So
I would like to add, because since it's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, this month of October, so we have a discount on this bridge course. We are offering it for 750 rupees inclusive of taxes, and this price is valid till December 31st.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today's topic is about cyber forensics. What are the career options? What actually, whenever this word will comes into the picture, whenever we talk about cyber forensics, what are the things may take place that we will see in today's session? Like whenever cyber forensics will comes into the picture, cyber forensics is divided into two different teams, or we can say it is divided into two different domains. First is acquisition team and second is analysis team. So we are going to discuss certain things regarding the cyber forensics, like what are the roles and responsibility will take place whenever we start our career in this particular domain, and what are the roles and responsibility of the first responder, what are the roles and responsibility of the analysis team, basically how we can identify the exhibits, how can we justify whether this exhibit as having potential value through which we can proceed further for the investigation. So before start cyber forensics, first we need to understand the overview of the cyber crimes. Now, whenever cybercrime will comes into the picture, basically the cybercrime is categorized into three different categories: crime against individual, and crime against government. Let's take an example of individual. We have heard about so many different kind of crimes like financial fraud, job scams, lottery scams. So basically, uh, financial frauds, like I did not newspaper maybe take the if somebody is trying to click on the link, the amount is deducted from XYZ person's account. So uh, each and every financial fraud we can consider as a crime against individual. Job scams we can consider under the crime against individual. Second is crime against property. Nowadays, data is one of the prime property for any organization. If I am talking about your personal data, your core information, your name, mobile number, date of birth, and email ID. This core information is nearly costing around 1.2 to $1.5 in the market. Uh, Regularly, you might have seen the newspaper like this much million user data got compromised. This many data is available on the public domain. How can we assure that the data which is available on the public domain is whether our data is compromised or not? The data which is available in the public domain, in which my personal data is available or not. So in this particular case, there are certain portals like what are the modus operandi of this of the hacker for to perform the data breaches. So they will take the data, then they start the negotiation with the XYZ company. If company is not ready to pay XYZ amount, then they will put that particular data sets on the public domain, which is open for all to access those particular information. One of the sites is Have I Been Found? Basically, this is the collaborative engine. Whatever the data sets are available publicly, whatever the databases are publicly available, it incorporates all those data sets. And if you want to check, let's take an example. If I want to check my personal mail ID, whether it is available in any of the breach or not, then you can keep your mail ID over here. Let's take an example. I am keeping one of my colleagues' mail ID. Here, the mail ID got compromised in 16 data breaches. Now, if I dig this more, if I want to see in which data sets or in which breach this particular data is available. So if you scroll it down, you can see here whatever the data breach and the data is available on the public domain. Data was dumped into the public domain. Your detail is available over here. For example, LinkedIn, May 2016, 164 million email addresses and passwords are exposed. This particular mail ID is available in one of the footprint of that data breach. LinkedIn scraped data. Nowadays, most of the organization, most of the MNCs are having one separate wing called Let's take an example. If MNC is requested for 10 software developers, they are using certain scrapers by using Python or R to scrape the data from the surface web. Basically, if I'm talking about internet zones, so internet is divided into three different categories. Whatever right now we are accessing, that is the surface web. Second is dark web, and third is deep web. So whatever the data is available on the surface web, it will crawl that data from the surface web and dump that data to the particular data sets. So whenever we are using scrapers, yes, the footprint of scrapers are also available in the on the public domain. Big Basket, October 2020, Big Basket suffers a data breach that exposed around 20 million customer records. Now, this 20 million customer records, what kind of data is available in this 20 million customer records? Date of birth, email addresses, IP addresses, name, passwords, phone numbers, physical addresses, and many more. Now, whenever any application will comes into the picture, application is divided into two different layers. One is front end and second is back end. Front end, where the graphical user interface is available, and back end is the place where the database is available. Now, always passwords are stored in the database in some encrypted language. So if you look at some of the data breach description like Daily Motion, email address, username, and bicrypt hashes of the data of the passwords. So basically, this hashes are nothing but the encryption technique of the password. So yes, that hashes, password hashes, salt values, encrypted keys also we can expect which algorithm they have used to encrypt the password. That also we can get it from here. So it is very easy for us to decrypt that data sets and convert that passwords into the plain text. So one of the biggest data breach is Dominos India. In April 2021, during the COVID time, 13 TB data got compromised. Around 22.5 million unique email addresses, names, phone numbers, order histories, and physical addresses. As I told you earlier, if your age is, have you ever noticed that if your age is between 20 to 30, you will get mails from matrimonial sites. If your age is between 30 to 45, you will get mails from matrimonial sites. If date, if your age is between 20 to 30, they will sell your data to the matrimonial sites. Again, if any e-commerce site can ask for the data set, they will sell a particular category wise data to the e-com websites. Now, yes, whenever I am talking about any genuine applications, those are maintaining the encryption technique and everything. But what about third party application? Let's take an example for Swiggy and Zomato. You are using the same credentials which you are using for the Google. If tomorrow morning Swiggy and Zomato is decided to down their entire operations in the India, what they achieve, what they have, the huge amount of the data set. They can sell that data to the any organization. So as mentioned here, crime against property. Yes, data is one of the prime property for any organization, for any individual. Crime against government. Whenever crime against government will comes into the picture, yes, what are the things? Defamation, morphing of the image, defamation on the social media, rumor mongering. This may take place whenever we talk about crime against government. So whatever the cyber crimes you might have heard, hacking, phishing, wishing, malware attacks, crypto-based attacks, all comes under these three categories. A word that was alien a decade ago, now a common household name and a front page newsmaker. Yes, these are the certain crimes which are the headlines nowadays. Ransomware. Uh, Ransomware is one of the hotcake malware attack. DDoS, DOS and DDoS to down certain activity, to down certain services. Let's take an example. If you have hosted a web application on a server with the XYZ specification, that server can take a load of ABC requests and 10 times of ABC you are pushing towards the server. Definitely, the services which are hosted on the server is going down. So the application cannot run smoothly. So DOS and DDoS attack, yes, every time, whenever any results about to be declared, yes, this plays a major role. Production of child sexual exploitation, financial frauds, cryptocurrency and cryptojacking, social engineering, information gathering, and darknet market. So basically, these are the challenges right now the forensic analyst or forensic examiners are facing to pull the data, to pull the information from intelligence from the surface web, dark web, and deep web. Basically, these are the crimes: financial fraud, data modification, identity theft and its misuse, cyber bullying, cyber stalking, data theft, pornography, child pornography, trade secret theft, espionage on protected systems. Social media as a threat, yes. In our domain, there is one saying, think before you click. And nowadays, in promotional mail or promotional message, everybody is sharing the link. Whenever somebody is trying to share a link, if you click on the link, they will get the information about your location, about your IP address. End user will get the information about your location as well as your IP address. Have you ever noticed that if you are traveling somewhere outside India, if you connect your laptop or if you connect your mobile phone to the internet, immediately you will get promotional mail of that particular country. How they are getting this details? How they came to know, yes, you are now in this country or you are now in so XYZ country. Because of your internet activity, they are getting the IP feeds, and based on the IP, they will get the location from where you are accessing a particular internet. This is the overall overview of the cyber threats. Like virtualization and cloud computing is one of the biggest challenge. Organized cybercrime, operated softwares, targeted malwares, social networking, insider threats, botnets, lack of cyber security professionals, network securities. So basically, these are the vectors who are damaging the information security controls. Email-based crime, whenever we talk about corporate environment, whenever we talk about production environment, spamming, mail bombing, phishing, email spoofing are the challenges in front of the production environment. Like if I have your mail ID, like C-DAC is gathering the information from you guys. So you have given your mail ID for this link and for this conversation. If I am having and initiate a mail on behalf of you, Anyone? Can I initiate an email on behalf of you? Yes, without your permission, without your details. If I am having your mail ID on behalf of you, I can initiate an email. The technique. On behalf of someone, if I initiate an email, the technique is known as email spoofing. There are certain portals are available, like these are the portals which are used to spoof the email on behalf of someone. Let's take an example. If I am having your email ID, so on behalf of you, I can initiate an email. So from name, from email ID to whom would you like to send? Subject, attachment, text, like if you are pursuing your bachelor's, you are getting offers from Toyota, Coca-Cola, and generally from the MNCs. Like we are giving so and so package, you are selected, and we are giving so and so package. But for the guarantee, for the surety, XYZ amount need to be registered. So basically, this is the we can say this is the portal through which you can spoof the email. Again, the portal, the limitation with the portal is this portal full subscription you will get. Like if you are using the Gmail, Gmail is having email based firewall, so it is restricting the mails which comes from this particular server. So it shows in spam folder. But yes, apart from Gmail, if you are using the same for any of the mail services, if you are using Hotmail, Outlook, Yahoo Mail, any of the service, it will reflect in your inbox. So anybody can identify, yes, the mail comes from the genuine source. So email forensics is one of the area where such kind of investigation may take place. Generally, in the production environment, in the corporate environment, whenever somebody is trying to defame someone by using the email, at that point of time, we need to identify whether the mail came from genuine source or not. How can we get the detail whether the mail came from genuine source or not? Let's take an example. If genuinely you are sending an email to someone, it comes via Google server. And if I am using uh, this particular portal, in this case, yes, the mail redirect or mail route from this particular server. Let's take an example from name. Mail ID. You can find the attachment. That might be a malicious attachment. You can bind a malicious piece of code behind the PDF file, and for that There is only one command. Let's take an example. If I want to concat two files, for example, let me create a folder. So if I want to hide a malicious piece of code behind this file, so there is one command. First of all, let me go to this particular location. Copy /B. Your first file always be the media file. Second file is your message, and output file. You can see here output file.jpg. Now this file is nothing but the combination of these two files. Okay, so similarly the same file, we can add a malicious piece of code over here and attach that file, your text, and just send. We have couple of the questions related to this. Let me check the questions. The query is SPF record, DKIM record, DMARC record. Yes, from there we can identify whether the mail comes from genuine source or not. If it comes from Gmail, genuinely Gmail, then yes, DMARC email header, basically it shows yes, the mail comes from Google. Otherwise, it shows it comes from mki.cz. Whenever you send, if you have subscription, then it will directly drop in the inbox of the receiver's end, and they can see what you have drafted. Coming back to the presentation. So as we discussed, these three layers of web is available, like surface web, deep web, and dark web. Whatever we are accessing, that is the surface web. Deep web and dark web. For that, to access this surface of the internet, definitely we need certain tool sets like Tor. Tor means the onion routing. Basically, the software is developed by US Navy in 1999, and somehow it leaked in 2001. Who are the evil minds behind this cybercrime? So insider threats, as per Gartner report, 73% data leakage happens because of insider threat. Hackers, activists, virus writers, criminal groups, information warfare, cyber terrorism, cyber warfare. Now, the forensics. Whenever cyber forensics will comes into the picture, basically, as per the definition, cyber forensics, digital forensics is a branch of forensic sciences that encompassing the recovery and investigation of the material found in digital devices, often in relation to the computer crime. Basically, these are the characteristics of digital forensics: computer forensics, network forensics, wireless forensics, database forensics, malware forensics, mobile device forensics, email forensics, memory forensics. If I'm talking about forensics is majorly depend upon the operating systems. Whenever we talk about any digital devices can categorize into three different categories. First is front end, that is the software. Second is back end, that is the hardware. And communication bridge between hardware and software is the kernel. So whenever we talk about any kind of digital devices are categorized into three different layers: software, hardware, and communication between software and hardware is kernel. Now, whenever we talk about software, let's take an example of computer forensics. The scope of work in computer forensics is very limited because it depends upon the file system. How many types of operating systems we have in terms of computer forensics? If we discussing this, how many types of operating systems we have? Anyone? So whenever types of operating system will come into the picture, operating system is categorized into two different categories: a server-based OS and a client-based OS. If I am talking about Windows environment, your R2 series comes under server-based OS. 7, 8, 8.1, 10, now 11 comes under client-based OS. If I am talking about Linux, Red Hat comes under server-based OS. Customized Linux distros comes under client-based OS. Similarly, Mac is not having any server-based OS. Apple Macintosh is a client-based operating system. So among all these various approach, mobile forensics is one of the costliest approach among all various forensic fields. If you look at the mobile forensics related tools and technologies, those are very costly compared to computer forensics tool sets. Why it is so? If I am talking about mobile OSs, let's take an example of Android. Can I run the latest version of Android, the latest version of WhatsApp in the first Android device, which was Samsung Galaxy 12? Can I run the latest version of WhatsApp in that? No. Compatibility issue will take place. Okay. That means compatibility is changing from version to version. If I'm talking about Android, how many versions we have in Android? How many versions we have in Android? Technically, there are 16. A alpha, B beta, C cupcake, D donut, E eclair, F Oreo, G gingerbread, H honeycomb, I ice cream sandwich, J jelly bean, K Kit Kat, L lollipop, M marshmallow, N nougat, P pie, and O Oreo. So we have 16 versions. Each and every versions are having its own protocols. Each and every versions are having its own security parameters. So data extraction, data processing technique varies from version to version. Similarly, iOS, completely different platform. We have 16 variants. Similarly, BlackBerry, we have 7 variants. Similarly, Nokia, Symbian, we have 2 variants, S40 and S60. So variant to variant extraction methodology is going to be changed. That is the reason mobile forensics is one of the costliest approach among all various forensic fields. Like for example, if I'm talking about live forensics, that depends upon that we can consider as a part of computer forensics only. Similarly, malware forensics also we can correlate with the computer forensics. So basically, these are the characteristics of various forensic fields. Now, this is the basic forensic process life cycle. Let's compare cybercrime with the conventional crime. So, generally, आपने movies में देखा होगा. If let's imagine the scene of offense of the murder crime scene को हम assume करते हैं. So, what are the procedure they are following? First, they will cordon the area, then collect the evidence, then process the evidence, report. In cybercrime, how cybercrime is going to differ with the conventional crime? In cybercrime, there is no guarantee whether the evidence is available at the scene of offense or not. Let's take an example. If child pornographic content is uploading on some XYZ portal, suddenly law enforcement agency came into the picture and they just delete that child pornographic content from their system. So first phase is identification of the evidences. If I'm talking about bookie related cases, where from the scene of offense you will get multiple devices, you will get multiple mobile phones, you will get multiple computer systems, network storage devices, many more. Which evidence we need to touch through which we can lead the investigation process, through which we can get more visibility on the investigation. That comes under identification. Identification of the evidences are very, very important. Nowadays, if I'm talking about digital evidences, basically in further slide also we will discuss, but because of time constraint, whenever digital evidences will comes into the picture, digital evidences can categorize into two different categories. One is physical evidence, second is logical evidence. In very layman term, physical evidence is the evidence which we can touch. So your hard disk, pen drive, mobile phone comes under physical evidences. Logical evidences means those evidence which we cannot touch. File, directory, logs, email headers, URLs, that we can consider as a logical evidence. So which evidence need to be collected through which, yes, the investigation, we can take the lead in the investigation. Second is acquisition. Acquisition of the evidence where the technicality will take place. We, being a forensic professional, we never ever work on the original exhibit. We create always duplicate copy of the original evidences. So there is one terminology called forensic duplication process. Imaging and cloning. These two are the terminology to conduct forensic duplication process. As let's take an example, if we receive the laptop, the heart of the laptop where the data stored, that is the hard disk. We never ever work on the real computer hard disk. We always work on the replica of the hard disk, duplicate copy of the hard disk. So acquisition of the digital evidence, for example, mobile phone. Mobile phone, one thumb rule to acquire the mobile phone is network isolation condition. Network isolation condition means, yes, a mobile phone should not communicate with any type of network. All manuals written till date on the acquisition phase, they all are saying that keep your device in airplane mode. I'll ask you one simple question. By keeping your device in airplane mode, are you able to access a Wi-Fi? By keeping your phone in airplane mode, are you able to access Bluetooth? By keeping your device in airplane mode, we can use infrared, we can use Bluetooth, we can use Wi-Fi, we can use NFC. NFC stands for near field communication. This four thing we can access. So let's take an example. If I generally best practice is saying that keep whenever you seize the phone, keep your phone in the airplane mode. So if I keep my device in the airplane mode, still the Wi-Fi communication can be established. So through Wi-Fi, WhatsApp, and everything can be possible. Then how can you achieve this complete network isolation condition? To achieve this complete network isolation condition, yes, we have a paradigm which will not allow any signal to be communicated with the device. Now, whenever digital forensics will comes into the picture, चाहे वो लॉ एनफोर्समेंट एजेंसी में हो, चाहे वो फोरेंसिक लैब में हो, या फिर वो कॉर्पोरेट एनवायरनमेंट में हो, it divided into two teams. One is the acquisition team and second is the analysis team. Being a fresher, whenever you are enter into the domain, you will be the part of the acquisition team where you have to collect the evidences. Analysis team will apply various data filtration, data mining technique on the huge amount of the data set to get the accurate result from the data. Let's take an example. 10 years back, I did something and I'm using that laptop since last 20 years. So from 20 years, I need to narrow down the case to the 10 years data set and I need to identify a particular data by applying certain filtering technique, by applying certain data processing technique. That expertise is available with the analysis team. Preservation of the evidence. For example, we need to take care of the digital exhibits. Like for example, hard disk. We never ever keep our hard disk near to high extension line. Why? Because high extension line is having electric field if and hard disk is having magnetic tape. If we keep hard disk near to high extension line, without power supply, the magnetic tape will rotate automatically and that is going to damage the data which is stored in bits and bytes format within the hard drive. Similarly, for mobile phone to achieve complete network isolation condition, yes, we need to preserve the mobile phone within the Faraday pack. Authentication technique. Whenever you submit your report in front of the court, whenever you submit your uh, exhibit in front of your higher official, it clearly comes, the prosecution or opponent will always ask, prove this is the same exhibit which you have taken from XYZ location at so and so date. How can we prove this thing? So authentication plays a major role to authenticate the digital exhibits as well as to authenticate a digital evidences. Now, whenever authentication will comes into the picture, authentication can categorize into three different categories: digital signature, digital certificate, and hash mechanism. Whenever we talk about digital signature and digital certificate, that is more over into network and web. Whenever hash mechanism will comes into the picture, yes, in cyber forensics, hash mechanism plays one of the major role to authenticate the digital evidence. What does it mean by authentication? By simple demo, we will understand this technique. I'll go to the same folder. Let me take this file. So there is one utility. Basically, hashing is the algorithm which will convert my entire document into one arithmetic value. The range of this arithmetic value is between 80 to 240 bits. So there is one utility. Again, this is open source utility. Generally, in what context we are in where we are using this utility? Yes, on day-to-day operations, we are dealing with cybercrime investigations. So to check the authenticity of the extracted data or processed data, we are maintaining the hash. Apart from that, in corporate environment, let's take an example. If I am sharing something with you, how can I make sure that none of the spoofing or spoofing technology spoof my data, alter the data, and send it to the recipient? So what I will do, I will attach my file. I'll take the hash value. I'll share that hash value in the separate mail. At recipient time, recipient will download, conduct the hash value. The mentioned hash value and the hash value appear on your device should be same. So yes, for data security also we are using this technique. So let's click on the hash calculator. Again, this is freeware utility. So whenever you start with hash calculator, The first screen looks like this. It will ask what would you like to convert into the integer value. Would you like to go ahead with text string? Would you like to import a file or hex string? First two options we will understand. Right now I have file like message.txt I have. So I will select file. I'll open that message.txt file from here. I'll choose that file and import that file into the software. So the file is available. In F drive and message. So first let me check the message. I kept bomb has been planted. Basically, three hash values, three hash algorithms are globally approved: MD5, SHA-1 and SHA-256. So just calculate the hash. Here you can see it converts my entire document into one arithmetic value, into one integer value. This integer value range is between 80 bits to 240 bits based on the algorithm which you have selected. So just copy this. Let me keep this file for my references. Now I am going to change something into this document. I'll keep a full stop. Again, I am going to conduct the hash value. Again, I am going to select the same file and calculate. So you can see here a minor change is going to change the entire hash value. A minor change is going to change the entire hash records. The story behind hash calculator is one command, that is certutil. There is one command called certutil dash hash file, the name of the file. It will, by default, it will give you SHA-1 hash. Let's take an example. If I want a particular hash value, a particular algorithmic hash value, in that case, the same file. Here we can keep the name of the algorithm, that is MD5. So you can see earlier it was SHA-1. Now it changes from SHA-1 to MD5. So now let's compare this hash file with the hash which we received by using hash calculator. So hash calculator is nothing but the front end. Back end, the same command is run in the backend engine. Similarly, let's take an example. If I am having any Facebook URL and that Facebook URL, let's take an example of URL. I click on the URL and suddenly some financial transaction happen through my Beam or UPI connected account. How can I get the details? How can I identify this? Because see, proceedings will take some time. It takes at least a month or 2 months or 3 months, or in some of the cases it might be years. So how can we justify this is the same URL which I have received on so and so day? So in that case, just go to text string. Let's take an example of any of the URL. For example, I'm going to take this URL. I'll keep this URL over here and calculate. So based on text string, let's take an example. If you are writing an email, so email related authenticity, if you want to check, so that you can check it through the text string. Any minute change in the text is going to change the entire hash value. Now my query is, if I keep slash over here, what will be the output? Whether I am getting the previous hash or not. Let's take an example for our reference. Let's make this default URL. Now let's add this and calculate. Now let me remove this and calculate. So both the URLs are same. So from this, yes, we can conclude that it not depends upon the integrity of the tag. It depends upon the data which convert into the integer value of the file. For you guys, I'll give some brainstorming exercise. Two things you need to check. If I rename the file, if I change the metadata of the file, is it creating any impact on the hash file? You need to check. Let's take an example. If I create a hash value of the file, then I rename the file, and again I am going to conduct the hash value of the file, whether it may create any impact on the data or not. Second query. Let's take an example. I perform this activity. Understand the question very well. Let me remove everything. Let me open a folder, that is message.txt. Let me create a hash of this particular file. So the hash of this file is this. Now, if I remove this dot, then hash value will be changed, that we have seen. Again, open and calculate this. So hash value will be changed. If I keep full stop again, what will be the output? Whether I will get this hash value or something else? That is your question. If I modify the text in text file, what will be the output? And same activity, if I perform with any Microsoft Office related activity or any Microsoft Office related byproduct, what will be the output? In Notepad, yes, definitely you will get it same, but in docx, you won't get the same hash value. Why it is so? That you have to justify. So coming back to the presentation. So authentication, mainly we are using hashing technique for the to authenticate the digital exhibits. Now up to authentication comes under first responder roles and responsibility. That means up to authentication, it comes under acquisition teams roles and responsibility. Analysis and report, whatever you have required. Apply various data processing, data mining technique on the huge amount of the data set and generate a report. Submit that report and conclude. So analysis and report, that comes under analysis teams roles and responsibility. This is the basic procedure that we are following on any scene of offense, identifying and securing the scene of offense, as is varies. Documentation of the scene of offense. This documentation is known as seizure memo or chain of custody. Collection of the evidences, where the technicality will come, where acquisition team technical importance will comes into the picture in forensic duplication process. Forensic duplication, where we are creating a replica of the original evidence. And we apply data filtration technique, data mining technique on the replica only. We never ever touch the original evidence. Conducting the interviews of the persons who are available at the scene of offense. Why it is important? Because let's take an example. If I enter into one of the MNC, I have no idea about how their network or how their infrastructure is communicating internally. To get more visibility on the network, to get more visibility on the infra, yes, we need to conduct the interviews. In that, we can identify from where to where the data has been transferred and what level of employee can access which kind of data sets. Labeling and documenting of the evidence, packaging and transportation of the exhibits. Now, whenever forensic comes into the picture, basically it divided into two different approaches. How many types of memory we have? Let's take an example of computer. How many types of memory we have? Yes, basically there are two types of memory. First is volatile memory and second is non-volatile memory. Volatile memory in very layman term, if I turn off the power supply, data will be wiped out from the volatile memory. Non-volatile memory means though power goes down, data should be as it is. So what are the major, these two models, model A dead forensics approach and B live forensics approach, both depend upon types of memory. Dead forensics approach means that deals with non-volatile data. Let's take an example of Nigerian drug mafia related case. Their transactions and everything is available in Excel sheet in the computer system. So yes, in that case, dead forensics model will be carried out. Whereas ransomware attack is going on, DOS attack is going on, and you have to collect the intelligence, and based on the intelligence, you have to respond a particular incident. That comes under live forensics approach. So data recovery, file carving, signature based recovery comes under model A. It deals with non-volatile data only, whereas malware analysis, network monitoring, threat hunting, which deals with volatile data only. What are the major difference between these two? In dead forensics approach, evidence is in off condition, or we can turn off the evidence. Let's take an example of WhatsApp data. If I want to recover your WhatsApp data, so if I am trying to if I shut down your device, WhatsApp data is as it is in your device. Okay, there is no requirement to get live data from the mobile phone. Whenever any threat hunting or malware related case will comes into the picture, at that time, yes, we can crawl the data. We can pull the live data. But in general forensics, yes, most of the time, I'm not saying that 100% we are using dead forensics approach only. Generally, law enforcement agency are dealt with dead forensics approach only. Whereas in corporates, production environment, they are using live forensics approach, that technically known as incident response management. Model A dead forensics approach dealing with non-volatile data used for those evidences which doesn't have any power supply. Whereas model B, evidence is in on condition dealing with volatile data, generally used for live systems. Now, what are the phases? Let's take an example. If I want to go ahead with dead forensics approach. So dead forensic approach is very similar to basic forensic process lifecycle. In basic forensic process lifecycle, we have 6 phases. First is identification, acquisition, authentication, preservation, analysis, and report. You can compare that basic lifecycle with that forensics approach. So you can see here, first is identification, investigation, preparation. Second is evidence acquisition. Third is analysis of the evidence. Fourth is result. Where the change will come? Whenever we talk about model B, there the change will take place. First step, let's take an example. Ransomware attack is going on in your lab. One by one, the systems are getting compromised, and you, being an investigator, enter into the lab and start your investigation. So first is block any access to the compromised system. Isolate that system from the entire wing, so you can perform your activity in that isolated system. Step 2, check for backdoors and logic bombs. What does it mean by backdoors? Anyone? The Indian government has banned 321 pornographic sites in 2021. There are n number of pornographic sites, but why they ban only 321? Because they identified while watching a pornographic content, backend, a backdoor will take the data and share that data to some command and control server. So backdoor, we can say backdoor is, yes, correct. Backdoor is a loophole through which the end user enter into the system and collect the intelligence, collect the data. Like very simplest example of backdoor, if you want to see, then many of you have used free antivirus. Generally our variants are available openly. Whenever you remove that free antivirus from your system, still you are getting applications, promotional offers related to that antivirus. Why? Because certain leftover items still available in the device through which they can access your activity, they can access your repositories. Logic bombs, periodically it will execute. Let's take an example. If I am living from this particular organization, I'll create a logic bomb in the system through which the entire system or entire infra is going to be compromised. So over the particular period of time, it will execute and it will damage the critical infrastructure. Restore if deleted and collect the log files. Restore any corrupted or modified data. Restart system services and applications. Step 3, install honeypots if hackers come back. Honeypots system is working on 0 to 65,536 ports. Certain ports intentionally I'll keep it open through which hacker will come and I take down the hacker's activity. I can observe the hacker's activity. Restore normal systems, access and functionality. Prepare a material and start the legal process. Basically, this is the overview of these two models, dead forensics approach and live forensics approach. So we'll go through the quick recap what we have discussed today. Then I'll open the house for question and queries. So we started today's session with basics of the cyber forensics, just the overview. What is cybercrime? We understood. There are so many research papers are written on the cybercrime classification. Mainly, it categorized into 3 different categories: crime against individual, crime against government, and crime against property. Importance of data we have seen. Then the basic definition of the digital forensics, characteristics, classification of the digital forensics approach, where we understood basically the file system. The heart of the digital forensics is nothing but the backend of the any operating system. in terms of computer and mobile plays a major role. Then we understood basic forensic process lifecycle. We understood the overview of 6 phases: identification, acquisition, authentication, preservation, analysis, and report. Up to authentication comes under acquisition team roles and responsibility. Analysis and report comes under analysis team roles and responsibility. Then we discussed about how many models we have. So it categorized into 2 different models: Model A, dead forensics approach, and Model B, live forensics approach. What are the difference between these 2 models? We have discussed thoroughly. So now I'm going to open the house for question and queries. If you have any queries, you can raise your questions. The query is, which industry hires more cyber forensic professional? Man, nowadays almost all industry, like for example BFSI sectors, are having their own forensic wings. Private practitioners nowadays like Deloitte, KPMG, EY, PwC, they have separate forensic wing. Even startups are also having their own forensic wings. Basically, in India, some of the department like income tax, GST intelligence, revenue department, they outsource forensic services. Whenever the raids are going to be conducted by them, they require forensic professionals to acquire the data, to process the data. So they outsource this services also to the private parties, which is known as forensic as a service. Again, there is very thin line between digital forensics, incident response, and e-discovery. So if you are having good knowledge of digital forensics, you can apply for rest of the 2 domains also. Incident response, where the live data is going on the data. So they outsource this services also to the private parties. Whereas e-discovery generally deals with, there is very thin line between these 3 domains. So for incident response, yes, almost all industries are who are dealing with IT infra, IT security infrastructure. Yes, they require incident response management team. Forensic is a part of incident response management team. In incident response also, you have to collect the evidence, you have to triage the evidence, you have to process the evidence. Just terminologies are different, but work is same. So almost all those agencies who are into information security, they can hire you now. Best course certification for beginners. I would like to highlight here, learn the technology, because I have seen most of the forensic practitioners are depend upon the tool sets. Tool today is available in the market, tomorrow might not be available. So learn the core fundamentals, core logic. See, for forensics and for cybersecurity and cyber forensics, coding is not mandatory. So people are depending upon tool sets. Don't depend upon the tool sets. Learn the technology manually. OS fundamental need to be very clear while you are dealing with computer forensics and mobile forensics. Certification for beginners, yes, there are certain. See, it's like database administrator only. Nobody will give you on very first day, nobody will give you the entire data set. So yes, self knowledge is the best. Plus certain open programs are also available, because certification again, you need 3 years. If I'm saying SANS is good in certification, but for that also certain experience you need to gain. So any other doubt apart from this? Whether any standards are there for cyber forensics? Yes, 17025 ISO to handle the digital evidences. ISO 17037, section 79A. We have provision in India. So yes, there are certain standards to manage the digital exhibits. Any other doubt apart from this? Okay. So we'll conclude this session. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Due to network issues from the second speaker, actually he is from the client side. Right now he is in Delhi. So due to some climate condition, due to heavy rain and then other circumstances, he cannot able to have a bad internet connection. That's why he cannot able to connect. we tried for almost 5 to 10 times. We cannot able to make it. So that's the reason we canceled the second session. Really apologies. We apologize from our side. We apologize to all the participants. Sorry for that. Hopefully we will conduct this webinar series in every month. We expect the same title for the next month also. By November, we're going to plan for another webinar. So I hope the same title, expect the same speaker to be have the session on the upcoming webinar. So, and then thank you all for the participants to attend the session, and thank you for Kritat Jagala, Senior Scientific Officer from National Forensic Science University. Once we made the request, he immediately accepted for giving the session. So thank you, sir, for giving the wonderful session on cyber forensics. Thank you so much. And thank you for the second part speakers also. And thank you for Anusha for organizing the entire webinar. So once again, I thank all the participants. You will receive the certificates. Along with the certificates, you will receive the details for the bridge course that we are offering from C-DAC Hyderabad. And once again, I repeat that the course fee is we reduced due to Cyber Awareness Month. The course fee was reduced to 750. So by paying 750, you can able to take in the bridge course. So once you complete the bridge course, you can get the certificate from SSC and NASCOM. So the certificate was provided from NASCOM. So thank you all participants. Feedback link is also shared here. Thank you all. We meet you in the next webinar.